Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You're watching Lockdown Live. Yes, I agree we are not that lockdown anymore. In Pakistan, realizing the pandemic is not going anywhere, we are all trying to adjust to this new norm, as we call it. And we're all praying that we come out of it together soon, inshallah. A decade ago, we had influencers, and we used to call them as celebrities, and their endorsements were considered as testimonials. If you remember the Lux campaigns with the beautiful film stars, trending now, starting from Rima and now to Sabah Kamar, is one of the examples. Nowadays, most of the brands are also caught up in the same trend of influencers, with obviously the change in medium due to the tech advancements over a period of time. Influencer marketing has expanded exponentially over the past 2 years. We've seen the industry go from the rising marketing tactic to an essential part of most marketing budgets. Today, yes, we are going to discuss influencer marketing. It's one of the newest category on Effie's list. And among the guest finalists, I have the brands which can be seen, recognized, and praised on the social media platforms. These brands talk in a special language. Yes, they use the powerful influencers to communicate with the consumers. And let's see what marketing strategies these teams have developed to bring them into the light of being the finalists. Among the brand teams we have today with us, Shamail Farhad. He's the digital lead at McDonald's. He's going to discuss his campaign, McDonald's Bun Kebab, and he represents the company McDonald's. Hi, Shamail. Welcome to
Hi, Sheen. How are you?
Good. We also have Saad Khan. He's the senior brand manager at Dasani. He's going to discuss his campaign, Dasani Unsung Heroes, and he represents Coca-Cola Pakistan. Hi, Saad.
Hi, Effie. Hi, Shumail. Nice to meet you. Meet you, rather.
We have with us Tuba Achwal. She's a marketing manager, Rose Petal, and she's going to discuss her campaign, Kareeb Kareeb Tarkeeb, Rose Petal Group, and she's representing Packages Limited. Hi, Tuba.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Hello, everybody. Good to be here with you, all of you guys.
Good to see you too. And we have with us Subia Khalid. She's the head of brands at Jazz.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Eva travels with Jazz, and she's representing Jazz. Hi, Subia.
Hello. How are you?
Good. And of course, we have the last participant, Khalid Khwaja. He's representing Roche Pakistan, and he's going to discuss his brand campaign, Let's Eat MS.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hi, Khalid.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And of course, we have a special guest. And today's surprise guest may or may not be surprise for most. A very calm and composed man when you meet him. He has unlimited aspirations for PAS. Working endlessly for the past 14 years at PAS, he understood the power of his brand and was able to initiate an awards program under the umbrella of PAS. What we came to know as PAS Awards, yes, PAS Awards was his baby, which was successfully run for 8 years. And even after launching Effie Pakistan, he could not let go of it. Let's welcome Kamar Abbas, who's the executive director at PAS.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kamar.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Kamar.
I like the new look.
Yeah, I know. It's the, what do you call it? COVID look. Not look COVID, but COVID look.
Right.
How are you guys?
Doing well?
Yes.
How's
Doing
yours?
well.
Great.
अच्छा तो ये बताएं तो everyone is I think Subia is in Islamabad. The rest of all of you are in Karachi, if I'm not wrong. Except
Yes, I'm in Lahore.
I'm from Lahore also.
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Somehow किसी तरह से भी याद नहीं रहता कि हाँ, Dasani is a part of Coca-Cola company. Yes. So we have representation from all three cities. So how are things at your end? How is the city responding to COVID nowadays? Now that we've like almost kind of peaking the numbers.
I think Zinda Dilane Lahore. COVID or no COVID.
Well,
That's to all Pakistanis, huh?
if you would ask my opinion, I'm not sure. I'm more worried about the heat or the COVID.
Yeah.
Because I'm from the Karachi, and there's especially the road shedding as well. So there are three things which are actually making worry these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think Lahore is
I
pretty
think
much.
across Pakistan and across cities also, I think it is once again there are segments. So there are segments of people primarily who have older folks at their home who are higher SECs. Primarily, they are a little more cautious, and as you go to lower SEC stratas, and as you go towards youth, I think people are out and about.
Yeah, I think so. I think pretty much in Lahore, I feel everything is normal. If you go to shops, they're just populated. Life is just going on.
Yeah, I also think it's got to do more with an individual response as well. It's about how worried you get and how seriously you take it.
Yeah.
I agree with Sa. There are all kinds of people out there. Some, who are still, saying that, oh, this is some sort of sazish. And, there are others who are overly cautious who have been since March when we all started working from home and still are. So, yeah, I think everyone is responding to it differently. Organizations and brands are also responding to it differently. So let's see where it goes. I think after the decline over the last few days, I really hope the decline trend stays and, we are able to move towards the next phase of the smart lockdown because it is affecting everyone, not just economies and businesses and shops, It's affecting mental health, it's affecting routines, it's affecting health. So looking forward to getting out of the new normal and going back to the old normal.
Yeah.
I think one thing which has affected the education sector has been affected. I think हम लोग सब किसी न किसी तरह से affect हुए हैं, but the kids and like there's one thing which has been affected. मुझे बताएं, what are your learning from COVID? We can start from Shamal. Do you have any learning from COVID?
So sorry, Effie, can you please repeat it?
I'm asking you, what are your learnings from COVID? COVID IR, has affected every brand,
Well,
one of us personally also.
Well, honestly, I mean, it's a global pandemic situation, and honestly, nobody has any clue whether it's a brand perspective or the individual perspective. We really didn't know how to deal with it. But a personal, I've heard about myself as an individual perspective. This actually made me realize that how things can get worse. For example, if I always wanted to get some time off from work and to just spend some time at home or lazing around on bed whole day, and this dream actually came true. But sooner or later, I started worrying about the corona cases and overall the spread of the virus. So I and my family and most people around me become more cautious about safety and hygiene and making keep social distancing at the very peak. So yes, obviously we do miss the gatherings, like the friends, the social gatherings and the events. But somehow, I mean, we're trying to cope up with that as an individual level. But for the brand perspective, I think our industry, restaurant industry, actually faced a major decline compared to any FMCGs or any consumer goods, because our restaurant industry has, people actually came to the restaurants and directly in contact with the people, with the food, people are more conscious for the hygiene and safety protocol. So our industry faced a major decline, and we have seen a huge, and in the month of April and May, now things are getting better in terms of business, in terms of overall the trust we have gained so far. global communications or different strategies. We'll discuss later on. So yeah, that's all.
So, Faiz, I think we'll start off with the drill, and we can start off with Ross. Really, you've been quite. Are you there with us? So, Waleed, can you?
Yeah,
So we can start off with you, and
yeah.
why don't you take us through your campaign? Um,
Sure. Thank you, Afshin. I'll just give you guys a bit of a context about Let's Beat MS. So, Let's Beat MS is an initiative that was launched in February 2019 to create awareness about multiple sclerosis in Pakistan and to guide the people who believe they might have symptoms of MS or are patients of MS to the right healthcare professional. So to achieve that objective, we launched our very own website by the name letsbeatms.pk, and we partnered up with an agency to create awareness on social media platforms and then guide those users to our website where they can get in-depth details about multiple sclerosis. We have a feature where they can. Hello, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
So, hello.
Yeah, yeah, Waleed, we can hear you. Hello.
Waleed, we can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a bit of an unsteady connection these days. Yeah. So basically, so we partnered up with an agency that was creating awareness about multiple sclerosis on social media platforms and redirecting the people to the website where they can get in-depth detail about multiple sclerosis. We had a checklist where they can check their symptoms and obviously the ACP details, neurologist details on the website where they can connect with the HCP by booking an appointment through the website. So that was the platform. That is what Let's Beat MS is in a nutshell. If I was to talk about the campaign that we launched, which was the Blurfy campaign. So the Blurfy campaign was basically the challenge that we had. Obviously, we launched in Feb, and then we had the World MS Day coming up in on May 30th. So we had to launch a campaign on World MS Day. And the challenge was that we're a new platform. It's a new platform, and where we have a steady and slow growth. But we had to get people know about Let's Beat MS, the platform, and about multiple sclerosis. So the challenge that we had was to create awareness about the disease, about the platform, and the insights that we gathered was basically the insights that we had that people would be able to take multiple sclerosis or any disease serious if they see the impact of that disease on the patient. So the idea was to obviously when you're talking about a disease, you have a limited space that you can play around with, and you have to maintain a certain tone throughout. So the challenge was to come up with an idea that would be attractful to the audience to join the platform and make an impact as well. So the agency that we partnered up with came up with an idea of combining the most common symptom of MS, which is the blurriness of the vision, with the most common trend, which is taking a selfie. And they came up with a campaign called the Blurfy. So all you had to take was basically take a picture or a blurry picture of yourself and upload it on Instagram or Facebook with the blurry frame that the agency had created. So that was the idea that came to our mind. And then obviously the platforms we chose were Instagram and Facebook. And the next step was executing the campaign. So obviously, we didn't have to look far. Eman Ali, one of the biggest names in the industry, was diagnosed with MS in the early 2000s, and she had been following our platform when it started. So when we approached her, she came on board, decided to join our platform and upload her blurry first. And obviously, then we had other A-list celebrities like Ikra Aziz, Ayman Khan, and a few more to follow on. And once the campaign actually launched, we saw some unpaid attention from different publications and media channels that picked up that campaign. And while the KPI for us was to redirect the audience to the website, and we had a steady and slow growth on the website, through this campaign, we actually saw a spike in the visits. If I were to give you a bit of an idea, from March 1st till May 1st till May 28th, we had around 13,000 people visiting, 14,000 people visiting the website on all of these days. But the 3 days that we launched the campaign on 29th, 30th, and 31st, we had about 22, 23,000 people visit the website in just these 3 days. So that is about the success of the Effie campaign.
So I think it was a beautiful campaign, and the idea was resonating with the entire thing. Kamal, have you gone through the campaign?
Yeah, so
Like that?
yeah, so I saw the campaign, and obviously it's a very sensitive subject.
Yes.
It's close to everyone's heart, and these kind of regular illness and MS is a very serious disease. But what I really liked about the campaign was the blurry idea. I think it's
Yeah.
perfect. It gelled very well. And then I think in terms of, and obviously we are talking about the influencer category. I think the celebrity and obviously she in herself is a very big influencer. Was a right fit, right connect. So I think how it was executed in terms of digital, and I believe, and if I'm correct, I think MS generally happens in younger age, right? Like 20 to 40 years, you start getting the symptoms. So apparently, I
Exactly.
think this
Between
is the right.
20 to 40, yes.
Yeah. So I think it was. So I think I love the idea. I love the campaign.
Thank you.
If I'm not wrong, I think Roche, in terms of medication, is the market leader. If are there any
Uh,
other?
I really can't discuss the treatment
Okay,
protocols
sorry.
because of the, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's completely
Yeah. So
fine.
I think it was the right fit. I think it would translate into your numbers.
I think you guys should continue promoting the NSP because I don't think so. It's not, people are not aware of this disease even now. Jabke Iman Ali Kowal is the only one was promoting it or coming out of it and telling about the disease altogether. But I think more companies should come forward and play their part or role.
So, Wali, just one thing. Was
Yeah.
this your first year doing it, or you people did
Yes,
it before?
first. No, the first
So,
year. Yeah.
so we hope that you do it this year as well, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Sylvia, how about you take us through Jazz campaign, which you did with
Yeah.
Eva Zuber?
Right. Jazz partnered with Eva Zubek. It feels like such a long time ago, but it was the start of last year, and this campaign really Jazz has been shortlisted for this. Eva Travels Pakistan with Jazz, has been shortlisted not just in the influencers category, but also another one. So well done to the team, Daud, who was leading it, Zainab and Alam on digital, and Iris, our digital agency. So Jazz, the brand, has after evolving from Mobilink, we've been running with our rallying cry called Dunya Ko Bata Do, and it is all about projecting your world, whatever your world is, whether it is your country, whether it is your family, whether it is your mom, something as simple as that, and it is about projecting your successes to the world. So, and when we launched this, you might remember the thematic ad where we showed a brother and sister who come back from abroad to change things. So, it is a bit of that we're carrying forward here. We are, our objective was to convey the essence Dunya Ko Bata Do to the world. And as advertisers, we're always following what the trends are, especially in the digital categories and, with influencers. So, with the Kiki challenge on that aircraft, Eva Zubek really put herself on the map. And that was when, brands were approaching her. She was doing travelogues. And so that's when, the idea came about. So we had a number of objectives for the brand in general, which we thought that, this sort of a partnership would really benefit. So, for example, we wanted to engage with the youth more. And I think there's no better way than connecting with a young influencer who is relatable in a way that how the millennials want to document every aspect of their life, who want to see the country, who want to who want to connect as they're doing it. So so it was that. But what we saw with influencers and with travelogues, the part of the country that was showcased was the northern Pakistan, and for a good reason, because the beauty is just exquisite, and it's more accessible to people like us who live in Islamabad, and even from Lahore. So a lot of that was happening. So we wanted to do something different, and which is why we did Eva Travels Pakistan with Jazz, and we did it in the south. So, from a business perspective, South is a region for jazz where jazz is not number one, and we thought that this would really help us, connect with the locals over there, not just with the on-ground experience and the activations that we did alongside the main digital campaign, but also in putting out content there that showcase their region. So, we feel that interior Sindh, at least, Karachi, not so much. The culture of Karachi is talked about. Karachi is buzzing with activity, with the food's famous, the events are famous, everything's famous. So it was more about the peripheral regions of Karachi, more of the south of Pakistan. So that's what we did. I believe not many brands have gone out there and put travel-related content for that part of the country. So we're very proud of that. So we were also, the Jazz brand was projecting the best of Pakistan to the world, because the digital media allows you that access. Whatever you put out there is globally available. So those were the reasons why we tried to do that. And we had this translated into very good business results. This translated into good engagement results and all of those. And here we are. We also got shortlisted for the Effie. So I believe that, yeah. So I think we're all very proud of this campaign because of how it brought together the multiple objectives we had for the brand and how we were able to do it without any hard sell. Of course, there were brand integrations. We did showcase Jazz and Jazz Cash as enabling Eva's journey, making payments or, following maps or, getting data in remote areas. But yeah, that was kind of the point of it too. So yeah, quite pleased with ourselves, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sugya, one question now.
Yeah.
How do you track your marketing campaigns and once you've launched a campaign with one of the influencers? How do you basically track these campaigns? Because obviously either you're going to track their pages or they're going to provide you data, or are you going to so how do you go about the results?
Right. So I could not hear you very clearly, so I'm just repeating the question. You're asking how we track the campaign. Yeah.
Right.
So I think there are several ways we track it. So because this was a lot of it was about data, and because we were in a very specific geography of Pakistan, so we were really tracking our uptake over there. So that was when we were tracking it on the business side. On the digital side, I believe all digital marketers are very familiar with the engagement trends, with the other numbers, with the positive sentiments and so on. So those were the things that we did. And more specific stats have been submitted in the form as well. So we did track it on multiple levels. We tracked it on softer aspects, on very direct hardcore aspects such as business, and overall word of mouth, the buzz the brand got. So when Eva was making news, we were able to just partner with her, and Jazz was able to come out as the enabler for her journey and for her discovery of all the beautiful undiscovered parts of Pakistan. So yeah, we benefited, I believe, on all three of those fronts: digital side, the business side, and the softer perception and the positive perception of Jazz being the enabler and telling the world about Pakistan.
So I think Sophia Shahwai was getting into the finals. Right?
I can't hear you very well. I believe you guys are a little far from the mic. But yeah, something about getting to the finals. Yeah, man, over here.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I liked the best about the campaign was the tagline "Duniya ko bata do" goes very well with a travel vlogger or a blogger, right? So perfect fit. I think it goes with the line. Then I think one sore point that we have, people who reside in the south, and I'm sure others would concur, is that yes, northern regions are always covered, but southern
Yes.
parts are never, we very honestly, Madani, we people living in Karachi or, for example, in other parts of the Sindh, we also don't know a lot of areas in interior still.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that was, that was a very good connect as far as I'm concerned. So it connected
Yeah.
very well. And obviously the integration went well. So, for me, it was right on target, and a very good connect, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yes,
Part
and
of
I
the
was just,
jury.
Yeah, I wasn't part
He
of the
was
jury, by
not
the
part of
way.
the jury panel, by the way.
oh man, why weren't you part of the jury if you're thinking so well of the campaign? But thanks. I believe that it was a very, very conscious objective that we had.
Yeah.
Dunya ko bata do, and talking about the South, because that too is a beautiful part of our country. And while the North gets its projection in travel logs globally as well. Being in Islamabad, I see a lot of foreign tourists coming in for treks. A certain mountain top they have to, a certain base camp. But that part of the country which is not really projected as much, that deserved a due share. And what are the brand to do it than the one that says Dunya ko bata do? Showcase what you have. So thanks for that.
Yeah. So good work.
So we'll move on to Saad. Saad, you'll have to take us through your campaign.
Sure. Thank you, Effie. At Coca-Cola Company, while we had been doing great with our sparkling business, and we were among one of the top three growing markets for Coca-Cola globally, the hydration business, or per se water business, that was for the longest period of time, that was our second priority. We had a brand named Kinley till 2017. And we did not do a lot of brand building there because we were all focused at, turning around our CSD business. However, in 2018, there was a strong, push, system push towards, gaining the non-alcoholic ready-to-drink market leadership overall. And that is where the plain water became very, very, important. So we said, okay, we will transition to Dasani. Dasani is also Coca-Cola's biggest global brand. But with transitioning to Dasani, how do we create a love mark that inspires consumers? That was the biggest challenge that we had at that point in time. Hydration category in Pakistan that has been in its infancy stage. Because we first of all, we do not have enhanced hydration or premium hydration. We just have packaged water. And that too, in packaged water also, almost all the brands, they talk about either health or purity. So it was a vast sea of sameness where we were competing. The product itself had its challenges because packaged water is not something that is really differentiated. You cannot differentiate on taste per se. You cannot differentiate on the quantity, mineral content, or what's inside the bottle. That is not differentiated per se. Of course, all like Coca-Cola has done globally, we have the highest standards of purity and cleanliness in water, but that is just a point of entry into the category. That is not a point of differentiation. So we said, okay, we will not talk about what's inside the bottle. We'll talk about what's outside the bottle, and that was the game changer for us. We said we'll have a brand that stood for a purpose. And the purpose of the Dasani was that tied beautifully with its brand values. So the Dasani is authentic, it is pure, and it believes in communal welfare. It believes in giving back to localities where it is. And we said that this is the purpose that we want to take forward. And we want to highlight those individuals, those people in Pakistan, the youth of Pakistan, that lives the values of the Dasani. Those are the Dasani heroes that we are going to live, and these will be the influencers for Dasani. So that is where it all came in. So we said, okay, we will share stories of. So there was a trend also in Pakistan. The youth was coming forth. The youth was owning Pakistan. At that point in time, the elections were near, So you know, there was a trend towards bringing a positive change, and you could see these certain entrepreneurial startups, these NGOs being laid down by Pakistani youth, which were meant for betterment of society. So we targeted those people as our influencers, and we started sharing their stories. The idea behind this was that once we share their stories, these stories will inspire the rest of the youth to come forward and they bring their and play their role in uh, bet in the betterment of the society. So that was what we did. Uh, um, we had people become the face of the Sani from various facets of life. We had people working for water purification, animal rescue, women empowerment, education, hunger eradication. So we had 9 of such initiatives which we launched globally. We captured their stories, we shared their stories with public, and we inspired RTG. We also used, so that was the digital bit of it. A lot of it was content. We made 9 content videos. It was very well received on digital. Uh, we had 50 million plus views on digital on these stories. A lot of it was organic. More than 90% of the views were organic. We had above 99.5% positive sentiment. And there was zero negative sentiment. So it was either neutral, the rest was neutral. Um, and the next step was that we also tried to enable these people by putting up a Dasani website, and our packaging was leveraged in a way that there was a QR code of each hero on our package, his picture and QR code would go on the packaging, and by scanning the QR code you could go to the website and there was a mechanism on how you could donate to that person, that hero, or you could become a part of his campaign. You can sign up to volunteer work for his campaign and help him. So that was the campaign overall, and that is what we did. We had around 30 million plus transactions of these bottles which had heroes imagery on them, and the campaign yielded very good results in terms of awareness. Our awareness shot up from by around uh, we we measure it on an urban level. So on because the sun is primarily an urban phenomenon. So our awareness went up by 34 million people in absolute terms. We gained equity scores of 0.7. Just to put this in perspective, the brands in beverage categories such as Mirinda and Fanta, which have been there for more than 2 decades, their equity scores are around 1.1, 1.2. So in those 3 months, 3 to 4 months of the campaign, that was solely digital led. We had a great equity scores. So it did pretty well for the brand, and it got us the kind of results that we wanted. But more importantly, it highlighted the positivity and what Pakistani youth is up to and how we can aspire for a better future.
So I think the major difference between your campaign and the rest of the campaigns out there was that they've used a celebrity or an influencer in itself, and you made these 9 or 8 characters as influencers, right?
Yes, exactly. So Dasani, for every influencer, our reach was around 5 million plus 5 million. Our views were 5 million to 6 million people for every influencer, and reach was even more. And we had these mastheads, YouTube mastheads, and massive digital campaign going behind. But exactly the idea here was that we'll share authentic stories. Our heroes will be real life heroes who are authentic, who are just like everyday Pakistani young adult, and who have taken it upon themselves to turn it around, and not for themselves only, but for the society at large. And that was primarily the difference.
Yeah, so I think
Start.
I think Saad, yeah, again a brilliant campaign, and obviously it wasn't easy to go against companies like Nestle and Pepsi brand. I'm sorry, I forgot the name. Yeah, but it wasn't easy. But I like the concept. I like how you related a pure act, pure act of kindness, which again relates to the water, and then a drop in the ocean, which creates ripples, and again that drop of the ocean also relates to your brand. So I think it was brilliant that way. One thing that I really like, and I think that she also mentioned, is these 10 people, and I think most of them were not hardcore influencers or online celebrities. So technically, and that's what we always say, an influencer, it's not necessary to see the numbers always. It's see what they stand for, and even if they have a very small following, whether they're relevant to your audience or not. And I think that's what you said. At the same time, obviously, the social cause attached to it. So I think a lot of factors in one campaign. And so you people feel that I'm complimenting every campaign. Yes, obviously, all the campaigns deserve, because you people are finalists. That's why you are here. So I think in all of you in your respective categories, I think you've done a brilliant work.
Thank you. Yes, Kamar. Just talking to that point primarily. While we were thinking of these people and while we were seeing that who our influencers would be, we went the other way around. So rather than seeing the people who had the biggest footfall, we said, okay, but who are the people who are creating the biggest impact? One.
Right.
And of course, footfall, we as Coca-Cola company, we know how to leverage and amplify this. So people would gain, but we need to have initiatives which have the strength behind them that will really, get people's attention. So that was primarily the shift that we brought.
Exactly. So was Dasani Unsung Heroes, was this an extension of or part of this campaign?
Yes, exactly. So the Dasani Unsung Heroes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Tuba, we move on to you and you take us through your campaign, which is Teddy.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Effie. I think it has been wonderful listening to all these inspiring stories, and great job were done by all of you guys, and good to be here with everybody. I think the campaign that over here is very close to our heart, because we really try to do something different and creative over here. So before I jump onto the campaign, I'll give a little bit context about the brand that we did this campaign for, which is Zoop. And Zoop is a kitchen towel that we have under the Rose Petal umbrella brand. And since the last year, 2019, we have been driving it through digital, and the category for kitchen towel is really small, but we've been leveraging on digital to get commendable results. And through digital, in the last 5 years, we've made it grow at a double-digit accelerated growth and become like a sizable part of our business. And this particular campaign gave it the boost and brought it to such a size that we were ready to offtake it on TV. And this year we took it on TV. Which is why this particular campaign has been pivotal for us. So for Zoop, the challenge was that it was kitchen towel. It's a smaller category, and operating in the industry or in the environment where it is a very SSE specific driven product, and people have daily economic challenges. So we were facing the challenge of how do we bring this particular brand as part of every kitchen essential, or whenever people think about Zoop, they should think about kitchen, and it is how do we partner with our consumer like that. So we looked at the insight that for Pakistanis in general, food, cricket, and music is a passion point. And everything that has been connected to food or cricket or music, somehow it's easier to connect with people on that. And with Zoop, we saw a beautiful connection with food. And then we thought, okay, what is that key insight when people think about food? So we see that there's a lot of trend about eating out, and people want to, food is very, very close to people's heart, and they don't want to compromise on the taste. So when you ask people that would you want to go and adapt to a healthy living, they'll say yes. But if you ask them, would you be willing to compromise on the taste? They will always say, oh no, forget the healthy living. Let's just have and enjoy the food that we do. So here we saw an excellent opportunity, and with Zoop we have the positioning that it can absorb up to 260 calories. And then we thought, how do we also inculcate the healthy living and enjoying good food? And then this idea came, and our digital agencies, BBDO, so fantastic idea from their side as well.
Hang on. You guys are not supposed to name
Can't take the name of the agency.
Because it's agency client.
Right, I'm so sorry.
Not even
Right.
in the comments or on the show reel. So it's one of the reasons the entries get disqualified.
Oh, okay.
Now
Great.
I'm going ahead.
Sorry, my bad. So the idea with Kareeb Kareeb Tarkeeb was to pick up street food points that are loved by people across the major cities, which are Lahore and Karachi, and try to use an influencer and recreate those recipes at home in a healthy way. So जब भी आप कहीं बाहर का खाना खाने जाते हैं, then the first thing that comes to your mind, and how your mom is always like, oh ये इतना oily है, this is unhealthy for you, this is unhealthy for you. So we wanted to create this concept that you can bring that food back home into your kitchen and recreate that taste in the comfort of your home in a healthy way. So we partnered with an influencer on this, and they recreated the recipes, and then we tried to create digital content around it, where we had random people come in and see how close it was. So we got very good engagement on the content, and people were trying the recipes at home, and then they were telling us. Then although we thought maybe it was a difficult concept, that there was a scale, that this recipe, that if you follow the recipe, is it Kareeb, or is it Bilkul Kareeb? So, but interestingly, it was easy for the consumers to understand this. They were able to comprehend this, and they were commenting that, oh, for us, ye Kareeb thi, ye Kareeb thi. Then the food points that we had selected, they were not really wow restaurants, but just street food that we thought that is difficult for people to replicate home. And then it became like a nostalgic, campaign for people. They were recalling their own moments. Oh, when I went to have samosa over here, this was the story that was behind it. And then people who were abroad, who missed Pakistan, they were commenting on the campaign that this is something that I really miss, and thank you for this, because now I'm going to try and recreate this recipe at home. So it resulted in fantastic results for the brand, in terms of offtake, in terms of our shop turnover rate. So all of these resulted in great results, and it was primarily because of this digital campaign that we did through Kareeb Kareeb Tarkeeb.
So I think during the lockdown, we should have re-aired the same campaign.
Yes, no, we did a season 2,
especially the first month where everyone was doing this quarantine.
Yes, and we got very good results for the season 2 as well, because cooking was such a major activity during the lockdown. And so we tried to, of course, we changed the format a little bit, but we did a season 2, and it was a great idea.
Yeah, great. So yeah, I think again this campaign. Tell me one thing: did you people change the positioning of the product with this campaign, or was it like predefined before that?
No, actually, we positioned the brand through this campaign. We did a digital campaign and post, like we did a DVC and we did a digital campaign, and we launched the Extra Oil Zoop Karo. And with this campaign, digital Kareeb Kareeb Tarkeeb, we reinforced the message. But yes, primarily this was part of the overall positioning of the brand.
But I think in terms of insight and repositioning, and I think even the timing, and I believe this was aired sometime in Ramzan or before that, I guess.
Yes, it was in Ramzan, last 2019 Ramzan. Every week we had a new recipe.
And obviously, again, perfect fit also. Was a good campaign overall.
Yes, and when deep frying is at the prime.
Yeah, and food is our passion.
Yes, definitely.
I think you had one of the best chefs of Pakistan on board as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. We
Yeah.
had Chef Sadat for this campaign.
One question before we move on. So these episodes, were they aired or were they shown on Chef Sadat's page, or were it being aired through your pages, or how did that
No,
work?
no, no. No, no, no. We did not air any of the content on Chef Sadat's page. We used our own platforms, all
Right.
of our platforms. We developed like a smaller copy for Instagram. So, they were medium. You could watch the entire episode on YouTube, but then we had a small snippet on Facebook, and then just the recipe content on Instagram. So it was an interesting learning for us as well as brand, that we had this great web series going on, and we adapted it as per other relative digital medium. And that is why we were able to get very positive responses, and we capitalize each of the medium in a very effective way.
Right. Cool. Good work.
I think we'll move on to Shamal, who is getting really excited about the idea of burger.
Yeah. When I was about to say it's my turn, I turn on the mic, then it's someone else's turn. But anyway.
कर रहे हैं आप या नहीं कर रहे हैं?
जी?
अभी तक ऑफर कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं आप?
नहीं, अभी तो नहीं कर रहे. No, we are not doing anymore. But that's the point actually. Since McDonald's has been a iconic global brand, I mean, we have a predefined menu to offer our customers. I mean, we cannot make changes in that menu. There's a permanent menu, and we cannot make any changes in that. But there's certain slight margin. We can bring some new taste or some new different product, but for the limited time period. We cannot make it a permanent. Whether the product goes really well and people go crazy about it, but still we cannot make it a part of the permanent menu. That's actually the guideline of the global brand. So we had every year we try to bring some new product. Like we tried some different flavors of McFlurry, like McFlurry Kit Kat and McFlurry Bounty and Twix. And earlier we had mutton burger. So we did try some different product. So this time we had an insight. I mean, we had an insight that in our society in Pakistan, majority of us loves the street food. We cannot deny that we love street food. But honestly, even we don't trust much on their hygiene standards or the quality of roadside hawkers. We don't know how we have seen that. I mean, how they cook food, but still we eat that. So we had an idea about it, and there was so many challenges when we are thought about like bring that product like Ande Wala burger. There was so many challenges as well. The basic challenge was like, how would an international brand like McDonald's respond to this public demand, or how to cope up with the taste of the public, and how we can, and still we need to create a buzz and with the mass acceptance as well. So this was a huge challenge for that. And even honestly, if we would have announced like McDonald's is bringing a bundle burger, people might not like it, and we will start doing the backlashing of the product, because we cannot do that. So we are good at making Big Macs or McCrispy, but when it comes to bundle burger, we don't know how to do it, and people start making backlashing of our brand. So we thought about like, okay, fine, let's do one thing. We obviously there are so many conventional digital mediums like advertisement and video-based thing. We all know that, but we wanted to do something different with this time, because it's a street food, and we want to keep it that way. So first of all, we had an idea that why not we should go with the influencer marketing this time. And when we talk about influencer marketing, it can be a celebrity endorsement of our product services. And we all brands, we know that we make different TV ads with different celebrities, and sometimes we make them as a brand ambassadors, and later on we ask them to use the content of their own platform to engage the audience. But how much they're able to influence the masses, we don't know that. In digital world, there's a beauty. Influencers can be anyone. Like Saad mentioned that we made normal ordinary people as influencers. That's very true. I mean, influencers can be anyone. It doesn't matter if they have 1 million followers or less than 100,000 followers, but if they have a capacity to drive the content among the youngsters or the masses, they can drive a movement actually. And this is what happened in the $1 burger campaign. and we choose Ali Gulpir as a face of the campaign of the brand. So, and Ali Gulpir, why Ali Gulpir? Because Ali Gulpir he's a sort of comedian. He's a sort of a street comedian. He does some pranks as well to people, and he's sort of a go-to people sort of person. So we asked him that we told him, explained him all the idea was behind it and how you need to take this communication, how to engage the audience. So we all remember the very famous Andewala Burger video when the journalist has people are mocking around him as Andewala Burger. So we had an idea. This term is a really famous term, is Andewala Burger. So we explained Ali Gulpir how you can drive that thing. So Ali Gulpir started making a video. He went to different restaurants, not just McDonald's. He went to different restaurants like other international brands, asking for the crew that I need Andewala Burger. So first of all, they laughed and he said we don't have it. So when he went to McDonald's and he tweeted about it, he posted the video, tweeted about it that I wanted to have Andewala Burger, the quality of the full hygienic brand product, but I cannot get it. So no fast food can offer Andewala Burger. So then McDonald's jumped in and we told Ali Gulpir, okay, wait here, we can do it. We'll accept the challenge. Then you know what? I mean, when this thing started getting viral, I mean, it went on viral like for 22 hours on Twitter. When it happens, then people start jumping in. The memers jumped in. Some other vloggers jumped in, and we start getting calls from media channels. Some bloggers and vloggers say, "Sir, what's the story behind it? What's going good for?" Because we have initiated the tweet on the Ali Gulpir handle. So it became a movement. So when we talk about influencer marketing, it's very important that you should be able to influence from the campaign of the influencer, and that should drive a movement actually. I would not a resistance movement, but a movement in terms of like what actually the influencer is talking about. So we capitalized all the organic reach, so we are getting it. And trust me, it was all happened before the announcement of the launch of the product. We didn't announce anything yet. So people started talking about it. And for a week, it went really, on trend on WhatsApp, on different groups and pages and things like that. And then we called Ali Gulpir. And you know what? We got some international videos as well from Denmark, from different European countries, when Pakistanis are asking for Andewala Burger from drive-thru and different McDonald's restaurants. So that's how it became really big. The idea became really big. So then
This is all a pre-hype kind of thing?
Exactly. So then I told you, if we would have announced that we're not launching Andewala Burger, so people might not like it. So we created an idea behind this, how to take this launch. So we replied to Ali Gulpir. Okay, now Ali Gulpir actually made their fan to start tagging McDonald's. If we want Andewala Burger, we'll come into your restaurant at this date with 100 people or 50 people. We need to give us something free, like for the lifetime or something, or give us Andewala Burger. So it was a very comprehensively planned. And the best part of this campaign was people are still unaware that it was a planned campaign. So that's all we did. And trust me, the results were so amazing. Initially, the stock of the product actually wiped out in 2-3 weeks because people actually driven to try the Andewala Burger from McDonald's. And we are very much focused on the quality and hygiene of the product. So people actually trust McDonald's when it comes to the quality and hygiene. So they actually went to the McDonald's to try and have a trial for the burger kebab, and people really liked it. So overall sales impact, the impact on the overall menu product, it went really on a spike for the 2-3 weeks. If the launch was really on the hype. So that's all we did.
Yeah.
I think it was a very well-knitted campaign, and as you said it correctly, that a lot of people think that it was actually ऐसे ही हुआ है, मतलब ऐसे ही हुआ है एक दिन के अंदर McDonald's में अंडे वाला burger बन कबाब दो.
But then actually we took 6 to 7 days actually. We need preparation for that as well.
Yeah. So Ali, did you use Ali Gulpir to influence your region and global to launch that burger also?
Well, it's a very local taste, that. I mean, some Middle Eastern countries might know Andewala Burger, but people actually don't know what's Andewala Burger. I mean, have you seen the video of an international with the person sent from Denmark or Germany? And actually, Cree was so confused, and when he said Andewala Burger, they were like, "What is this?" I mean, they didn't get it actually what he's asking for it. So So yeah, but even the product was successful, but still we had to remove it from our menu. That's the guideline from global.
I think what I really like, and I think it was very bold of McDonald's to do, is the other way around. Is to portray that actually it was public demand and then creating a product out of it. Right? So I
Yeah.
think it was quite bold and very interesting angle to it. So I think, tell me one thing: were you guys prepared? What if your competitor would have jumped in and said, "Okay, fine, I'm going to give you Ande wala burger," and say KFC?
Exactly.
Were you prepared?
Exactly. Honestly, trust me, we had an idea about it, and our things were pre-planned, but that's why the campaign was earlier. It was planned for 2-3 weeks. We could have dragged it, but when it got so much hype, we started getting calls from different channels. Like different private channels are approaching us, the marketing team and us, that what's going on. You actually tweeted, and can you please explain us what's the story behind it? So we have decided just break the ice and just let it announce it as earlier. It was actually the later on, but we launched it earlier than the planned date.
Yeah.
So we didn't want any competitor to capitalize this overall organic and reach. So we launched it earlier.
Yeah, because if I would have been your competitor, I would have immediately sent a post. Okay, forget about McDonald's. I'm going to do it, and I would have shown the show.
Exactly. One local brand, very small brand from Lahore, actually. He tried to did that, but obviously it's a very small brand. He couldn't pick up the audience and McDonald's and Andela were trending on for a day on the Twitter. So, but thank God it didn't happen. But actually we had an idea about it, so we cracked it earlier than the planned date because it went really viral. We weren't expecting that kind of hype of the pre-hype campaign for this.
Yeah, brilliant work, guys.
So, Subhya, I have a question for you guys. मुझे पता है, what are the criteria when you go out and select the influencer from the market or from the digital or whatever? What are the criteria that you guys look at? Like, is there just a number game? कि भाई जिसके सबसे ज्यादा लाइक्स हैं या इस कैटेगरी में जिसके सबसे ज्यादा वो हैं, do you select it medium wise? How do you go about it?
Well, I can start. I think it's a number of things. Numbers is definitely one big consideration, but I think there are two other things that play perhaps a bigger role. That is who your target group is, if and how that influencer or celebrity resonates within that circle, and also what kind of a persona that influencer has, and how aligned that is with your brand's personality. So, for example, if
Subhya?
I think we lost her.
Yeah. So where are you using Jazz Connection?
अभी मैं यही पूछ
looking for something useful, something fun, if that's who if that's I'm back. Yeah.
using Jazz, that was our question.
I wasn't using Jazz. Yeah, I should be using Jazz. Yeah, this wouldn't have happened.
It's online.
Yeah. No, so I was saying, I don't know where you lost me, but I was saying that what attributes that influencer projects, what kind of sensitivities that commands, what kind of zones, the softer zones that influencer lies in, and how well aligned that is with your brand, and how much of an appeal that influencer has within your core target group. So those were the things that I feel are very important for any brand to look at, because at the end of the day, you're looking for a means to amplify your message. And that I feel can be done more effectively if these things are aligned beforehand.
Okay, so Kamal ने आप लोगों से बहुत सवाल पूछते हैं. Let me ask you a couple of questions. So Kamal, आप मतलब जूरी में भी होते हैं, you face a lot of criticism, right? आवाज आ रही है ना आप लोगों को? Can you guys hear me?
Yes. I can.
So you face a lot of criticism, ठीक है? कभी आपने ये सुना है, कभी आपको किसी ने शो के बाद कहा है गुड शो?
Only the winners do that. That's the compliment that I hear only from the winners. And I'm sure, Tobiya, you can endorse this. Huh? So obviously, like, you know, this is
10 years.
Yeah, and it's part and parcel of, I guess, of any award program, right? So there are people who do not win. Obviously, they're not that happy. There are people who win; they're always happy. In my experience, and it's very difficult actually, because obviously award is one part, and then the society is another part. So a lot of time it becomes difficult. I've seen some companies leaving or resigning from past membership because they didn't win an award. But then obviously our job is to convince them. We try to engage them. We try to call them, be part of the jury or observe the jury process. But I think overall, even with all the criticism, I think the industry, and I'm sure you guys can endorse it, that overall they've been very receptive of, or they believe in the credibility. And that's one thing that for us shows is the number of entries or number of participation in terms of companies and the agencies year on year have been participating.
I think the engagement level has also increased over a period of time. And what is the cruelest comment you have come across?
Cruelest comment? Ye awards became or so one very interesting thing that happened was a company that won an award previous year was not a member of PAS, and the next year when we met them, they said, "Aapke awards to bite huए." And then, and thank God, he actually, that company had won an award last year. So, he said, okay, aapne kitne paise diye the? It was, so then these are the remarks that we hear. But yeah, I think that's part and parcel.
So what keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I just want to say something, if I may. I remember a time where once one telco had sponsored the awards. They were the title sponsor. And in the telco category, another telco had won. So, I feel that that's a testament to the transparency of the awards. So, yes, I mean, that's something that I've witnessed. I believe it was in the earlier days, I don't know, the fifth, the third, fourth, but that's happened. So, yeah, I mean, the awards are transparent.
Yeah, they are. So, you're right. Thanks a lot for adding this. But very honestly, and we feel like any other award program, it may not be perfect. But obviously, there's always chance of improvement. But I think one thing that people believe, as you rightly said, that at least they're transparent and credible. We have our council members, and I think we can talk from experience. Like once, like Asif is the president and chairman of the society, but in 1 year, Jazz did not win. So obviously, we keep it very separate, very independent. No one, even in our council or in our member body, except us, know what's happening or what's not. And obviously, we have external auditors also. So we ensure that because that's the fundamental part of it. If you guys lose hope, or if you do not find it credible, then obviously there's no very honestly, the award wouldn't be there.
To add on to what you were saying, Sujya, I think this happened last year also. One of our sponsors was competing in a category, and the competitor won and the sponsor lost, and so that's about the whole thing. So it doesn't affect any sponsorship or anything. So what is one thing which keeps you guys motivated? We can start.
I didn't get that. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Please.
Yeah. So what is one thing that keeps you all motivated?
Yeah, I think being at marketers, it's just, I think it's the love and passion for brands, and to be able to create content and communication and campaigns that people can connect to, and it can spark some kind of emotion. It can generate some kind of sentiment in them. It really makes you feel that the work that you're doing is influencing the world in some way or the other. So that, to me, that feeling is really sublime, and that's what drives me and keeps me motivated, and it's definitely my love for brands.
So Saad, how about you?
Yeah. So for me, I think it is the overall management of the business. So I work on multiple categories. Hydration is one of them. Then I have juices in my portfolio and sparkling innovation also. So just dealing with almost all the beverage categories at one point in time, and these new innovations, uh, they encompass a lot of business development, a lot of knowledge about supply chain and sales and commercialization. So having that holistic view and managing something end to end, you know, uh, when a new brand is launched, it is just like a baby. So you nurture it from the very start, and you look at it growing. I think that is something that keeps me going.
तो भी आप बताएं.
I think for me individually, and I think for a great part for my brand team as well, I think what really keeps you going is bettering yourself. Is really when you're really competing with yourself, that's where the real challenge is. So I mean, you may win an award today, but how are you going to do it better tomorrow? So I think that beating yourself, getting better, I think that's what keeps us going.
शुमाइल आप बताएं.
Well, being a marketer and especially a digital marketer, I mean, I think which actually moves me or drives me actually is the type of content, type of work we do it. We always have to come up with a new thing and new communication strategies and new strategies to engage our audience. Every time when we work on the campaign, we have to come up with a very different creative idea, different from the other one or different from the other brand as well. And you have to keep things, and all the things in your mind while working on it. And this actually when when you have passion for any brand, not just for McDonald's or if I were working on any other brand, that this passion of me creating some new creative content, which actually drives me, for the creating more and more, and actually helps me to motivate, keeps me motivated as well.
शुमाइल आप बताएं. आपको question.
God, what cliched answers that you people give. But okay, I'm going to do the same, man.
I meant mine.
Yeah. Work for the betterment of the industry and see our communication gets great. Seriously, very honestly, I personally feel, and bringing Effie's, I think I really want to see more and more communication participating in regional and global awards. Not just one agency, one brand, or two agencies or two brands, but more and more. So I think that drives me. Yeah. But I think all of you have done a great job with all your campaign, with the campaign. Influencer category, this category was one of the most dynamic categories. I think we had a lot of entries in this category, and I think if I'm correct, I think the most number of finalists also in this category.
No. So
There's another
But
one,
yeah,
but one of the I think it's the second.
So I think we had all participants together. So we were actually thinking of how to adjust you guys because we had a limitation of just 6 windows, and we were thinking that 5 हो जाएंगे, so how are we going to bring in the 6th one? So
No, but like in terms of finalists, I think it's one of the categories that had most number of finalists and across category, right? So it's a really interesting competition.
it's an interesting category altogether.
Yeah.
So we've received a couple of comments. Ande Wala Burger was a good campaign. We've got compliments for Dasani also. Okay, so you've got visibility of the Sani in the market has really helped win consumer confidence, appreciation. I think these are mostly comments, nothing as of questions. But do you have any questions related to the beauty process or anything related?
Yeah, and guys,
to us,
you can,
because you can
and you guys can be
always-
ruthless.
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah.
I do have a question.
This goes unedited. Live.
All right.
So, any questions for us? Any questions for the Effie team?
Well, do have a question from Subia. Hi, Subia.
Hi.
Actually, I've seen our campaign. It was an amazing campaign, very well executed, beautiful. I mean, the from the eye of the camera. I mean, I've seen the Pakistan. Obviously, I've been to Pakistan many times, but obviously there's a different view when you go there and you actually see from the camera, see behind the camera or with the camera. So overall campaign was amazing, but I've seen like many campaigns from different influencers, different individual vloggers, and they have did try the same thing. Obviously, execution part, I would say that's a totally not matchable, because obviously it's a brand. When brand does something, it involves a huge cost and everything, idea, agency, and everything. But when the individual has done some pretty good job, we have seen that. So, I mean, what idea behind it? And because we have since 5-7 years, we have seen so many travelers and vloggers have doing the same thing, showing showcasing the Pakistan, the different angle of Pakistan. I mean, so what made you thought about by doing the same thing? Well, obviously, you did a different level, but I just want to know. I mean, what made you do the same thing? Because obviously,
Right.
it's a huge big campaign.
Yeah. There were several reasons why we did this. So, I mean, for one, we wanted to ride the wave. Eva was the talk of town, and that was something that we wanted, to help our brand. So that was one. Then Dunya Ko Bata Do was a very good fit with what Eva was doing. So, and I think for a popular face to carry the story of your brand, that is a very good way of taking that story forward to the people. So that was another one. The third one was, like you said, a lot of people have done travelogues, but we wanted to do a different spin to it. Zada north pe hota hai, we did south. And there was a geographical business objective, which was that, in South, we wanted to increase our market positioning and the love for the brand, specifically in that region. Then also, another area that Jazz is actively pursuing these days is the youth. We want to connect very strongly with the younger audience, and what better way to do it other than through a popular person who is also young, who is doing things, who is saying the right words, who's doing things in a way that is building the appeal of not only that individual. So there were a number of business and brand reasons why we chose this dynamic and why we put a spin to it.
All right, very well noted.
तो कमर एक क्वेश्चन से जवाब आप दे दें। एक कमर से मैं सवाल पूछूं ऑन एयर आप सबके सामने कि आपको शिकायत नहीं करते लोग कि मुझे जूरी में क्यों नहीं किया?
And especially when there's a whole band and everyone is on the jury. Yeah, so बहुत करते हैं, and and obviously, I know most of the people in the industry, especially senior people. So obviously, it becomes a little bit technical also for me to say yes and no. But obviously, it's not just my decision. The thing that we look is basically, obviously, we have a composition, and I think so we like the jury is composed of a marketeer. We have representation from the agency, from creative, research. So we have to have a proper mix. So sometimes, yes, we do receive it, and then we also take feedback from the industry that if you want to nominate or if you want to be a judge. So we look at the profile and then we think, okay, where we need more people. So there's a whole science behind it. The numbers also. Why do we have 100 people on the jury? They're divided into round 1, round 2, and round 3. In round 1 also, or in all the rounds actually, they're divided into groups. And there is a certain set of expertise that we need. So yes, and then we also do rotation. So yes, some people do send they show their interest. So if we don't take them in year one, we do take them in year two. But then the most important thing is we have to see that the person is extremely neutral. Obviously, we have our systems and checks and balances in place, and very thorough checks and balances. But then you also have to see from the industry perspective that whom would you like to be on the jury panel to judge your own campaign, to judge your campaign. So, obviously that is a very important deciding factor for us.
I think that justifies the
100 people on the jury,
on the jury.
Yeah.
And फिर भी लोग शिकायत करते हैं हमें नहीं दिया और फिर ये भी शिकायत होती है कि इतने सारे jurors on board हैं.
So जैसे एक juror ने बोला उन्होंने बोला सबको ले लिया तुमको क्यों नहीं दिया?
I have a question from Kamer also. So Kamer, you have been on the panel of jury for a number of years now. So I just wanted to know, in your experience, how has the competition in marketing in Pakistan evolved over, let's say, last 4 or 5 years? The strength of entries that you see in PS today versus when we started, how has that gone up? And how has the competition for the awards? Because Effie in Pakistan, I understand there will always be losers who don't take it the right way. But I'm sure that all of us are here for a reason, and that is because all of us believe in the platform. So how has that gone, and how do you see it evolving, let's say, in next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. So Saad, so when we first started, very honestly, we had a lot of challenges at that time. People in our industry were not used to these kind of awards where we spoke about effectiveness. Yes, there were creative awards, but they were not that established. तो आपने अपनी TVC दे दी या print ad दे दिया या कोई भी design submit कर दिया और उस पे हो गया. So people were not accustomed to it. So initially the challenge was how to fill the form. And I'm telling you, over a period of years, that has been the biggest challenge that we face, and that we also hear from the jury panel. बहुत मतलब होता है ये, and purely from my experience, I've seen there are brilliant campaigns, but they have been shot down because the form was so badly filled. Now just imagine that you have 15 minutes with the jury, right? And they have to read your written form, right? See the story, discuss. So you have that 15-minute time to make an impression. And a lot of people did not know how to do. Over a period of years, yes, we've seen a lot of improvement in how the forms are being filled. We've given workshops, we've tried to do one-to-one meetings, case study publishing and all that stuff. But again, there is a lot of gap there. People just don't know. I'll give you an example. Like sometimes we feel, and the reason is not that the form is complicated. I sometimes feel that the brand team or the agency team, whoever is filling it, they perhaps don't give much time, and they do it right towards the end, and that's why the quality is compromised. So that is one challenge, and I think over a period of years that has improved. The other thing that we try to push through these awards are certain practices. So say, for example, 2 years back, we introduced a category social good. And I'm sure you all will agree that, the entire world has been talking about purpose-driven campaigns or purpose-driven messages. So, we add certain categories just to encourage those practices. And that's what we've seen. Say, for example, in past awards, we added digital, we added out of home, and we also did media innovation. And same is the case with social good. So through these awards, we also want to push certain kind of practices or types of communication that we want to see more coming out from the industry. And that is obviously has gone up. The other thing is, the third part is through FEs, bringing FEs. And a lot of people ask this question, what's the difference between, past awards and FEs? I think the main difference, and obviously our system was derived, past awards was derived from FEs only. But I think the main thing that Effie does is put us on the global, on the map, right? A lot of agents, I'm sure you people have seen or you see campaigns that are submitted at Cannes or say Effie Worldwide or APAC competitions. You won't see money campaigns at all. Through Effie's, we are hoping that we raise that standard and we make ourselves visible internationally. If you see recently, I think a week back or on Monday, a week back, we issued the global index of Effie Worldwide, and you see in APAC region there were three agencies from Pakistan that came on the top 25 list or say top 50 list. So at least we have started becoming visible, and hopefully, year on year we're going to go up. So that's what our vision is.
So coming out from Kamar is such a big thing because he won't let go of past awards.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And move on to it. I think, guys, we'll just move on. There's a very big comment. I'll just go through it. I don't know if it's so Namra Arshad is saying the consumer shift from other brands to Dasani can strongly be attributed to its marketing. Okay. And a penny of my thought. I think mentioning agencies should be allowed more, so encouraged rather than a reason for disqualification. That goes for you, Kamal.
Yeah.
There's a partnership relation between agency and brand behind every campaign launched, and both are responsible for the success or failure of it. I agree with this 100%, but I think we have reasons.
No, so Mahad, I agree with it. Obviously, it's a partnership, and that's what we promote. And our forms are such that you have to fill this in partnership. Brands alone can't do it. Agencies alone can't do it. So in the credit, yes, we do credit agencies. Even I don't know if you've attended any of our awards. On the stage, it's the brand and the agency entire team that come, and it's just a matter of not mentioning it in the forms or the showing. The reason being is for biasness. That's the main reason. But obviously,
I have a question there.
Yeah.
But Kamar, the advertising circle in Pakistan is pretty tight. And, brand teams switch from, one brand to the other, especially within industries and, across industries as well. So within that, we're really close-knit circle. And, the past brings us together even more. I feel that everybody knows everybody's agencies anyway. So
I was just thinking that we all know what agency which brands are working with.
Yeah, so I don't see how, at least at jury level, at jury level, you select individuals who are, seasoned advertisers and marketeers of Pakistan, who have been in agencies and on brands, and, by virtue of their network, they are privy to more intimate information on brands than just who their agency is. So, I don't get it.
Yeah, so you're right. You're 100% right. In our market, and I completely agree with you, it's such a small industry that everyone knows, most of the people at least, if not everyone, 80% of our jury members would know which campaign is done by which agency. You're right. But in this case, we're just following the FE rule because globally they maintain a single policy. So that's why we've maintained that policy. But you're right, 100%. That in our country, it may not apply. Everyone knows which agency has done that work. So yes, it's a matter of global policy that standardized throughout.
So Isha Tariq has given a compliment for the Dasani has really filled an strategic gap in the market, which was largely dominated by monopolies previously. We have a question from
Malia Bernia.
Okay, so I have a question to the jury, if I may. What is that one factor that plays an important role for a brand to win award on this particular category?
So I think to answer this, and I'm sure all of you know it, I think it's effectiveness, and that's what it can. And there are multiple and effectiveness, obviously. And then if you see getting the right strategy, recognizing the right challenge, setting the right objective, developing the big idea, through proper insights, developing the right creative, they all lead to effectiveness.
And
So I think if there's one word for its effectiveness, that would that wins.
I think also using the right kind of influencer for this category and for your brand, particularly for your brand. You know, how to fit in your brand. That
proper fit, right fit.
Influencer should fit in your brand. And I think with that we end with the questions and comments. So we have a lot of comments for Dasani. आपके भी कोई रिश्तेदार तो नहीं बैठे हैं आप साथ
कुछ है रिश्तेदार भी
क्योंकि हमारे पास ये होता है कि एक पता नहीं one of the participants and we had a sister so वो खुद ही हंस के उनका हाल हो गया. So guys, with that I think we are going to end our session and it was a very I think about thinking you know it was just 5 brands of you all and when each one of you went to that the brand insight and you know went through the entire case, it was a learning. अब आप सोचे वो जब जूनी वहाँ बैठती है, so what kind of learning experience they you know have after going through like 20 campaigns. So it's a pool of learning, and I think you're going to improve that pool inshallah every year. So with that we end our show. And best of luck to all of you and keep getting our updates from Effie page on Effie Pakistan page and we'll just remind everyone that we're going to be announcing about our award show very soon inshallah next week. So stay tuned to our social media pages and we have more interviews lined up for next week. And happy award winning to all of you. And thank you for being on this show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having us. It was great meeting everyone.
Thank you for having us, and Afshin, a special shout out to you for moderating this so well.
So yeah, it's true. I mean, I love the title "Lockdown Live." It seems like we're at a 9 p.m. news channel show. And by the way, I mean it's a great initiative. I mean, you know, we are having the discussion on the overall category with the different competitors. So because if there's no situation of lockdown, probably we won't be having these sessions. So I think it's a great idea. I guess we should also do it when the lockdown is not over. Yeah, we should do that also.
Exactly, and just building on to that, there is a lot of cross-category learning. So I've learned a lot from this session. So I think that also helps a lot. Thank you.
Definitely. I think it's very interesting. Like as marketers, you get to learn more about the insight behind the campaign and you know what was the thought process. So that's definitely a platform like this is very helpful for within the category and industry as well, I think.
Yeah, coming together across industries is very interesting because on a day-to-day basis, you just operate within that zone. You know, you don't think beyond your industry. So,
absolutely.
So, you know, interactions like these really help. So thanks.
Yeah, I agree with everyone, and I apologize. I couldn't be a part of it. I have a faulty connection, and it's not Jazz. It's not Jazz, but I shouldn't mention Jazz now. Yeah.
I will send you a Wi-Fi device.
Yeah. So we are sending your 4G connection.
Sorry?
Send in your 4G connection.
I'll send in my quality connection. Yeah.
It was a great session. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. All the best to you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right.